All right, so we just played mono red and went 4-1 with it, just kind of running through the ladder here. This is Boros Feather. I have always loved Feather. I've always I've loved this deck as long as I can remember. It's changed a little bit. I don't really know a ton about what's an Explorer and what's played a lot, so I'm kind of excited just to play it and kind of see what happens. The interesting things that stand out to me are Valorous Stance. Um, Let's see, I think I got one over here. Yeah, Valorous Stance. I really like Valorous Stance. I remember when it was in Standard during Origin Standard, and it was a good card. I'm just curious to see what that looks like um, now in this format. So I think a lot of people are playing it for the Indestructible. Um, Homestead Courage, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control against Vigilance till end of turn. Now the Vigilance seems pretty good, but I wonder. I like that it has flashback, but I'm honestly wondering if it's worse than the like the 1 white sorcery distribute to one give 2 creatures 1/1 counter. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I really enjoyed that card, so we are going to best of three. No, not historic. Explorer. All right, we'll try this and see what happens. Kind of nice taking a break from Moto to play a little bit of Arena today. All right. I mean, this hand seems pretty good. Probably just gonna play the Sejiri, however you say that, Shelter there. Um, Go ahead and run out double Clever Lumimancer here. Now, Clever Lumimancer is something that does play well on the front foot, so all right, I'm gonna get aggressive and run out Feather here. Not gonna attack because we do have God's Willing. Now, if we get blown out because we played Feather a turn too early, no, that's just gonna be disappointing. Ugh. All right, well, that kind of sucks, but nothing we can do about it. And they're gonna Thought Seize us. Oh, this is not looking good. We need to draw something. We need to draw something now. Now, to be fair, if they were going to Thought Seize us this turn, then what much we could do about it anyway, but sitting in with the clowns here. 5 lands is also quite a... Well, I mean, I guess we've drawn 4 lands in our 18 land deck, which is a little more than we'd like to see this early in the game, but... Reckless Rage is a pretty good peel off the top here. We're going to put Lumimancer to the bottom. We'll attack for 5. That is the good thing about this deck. It does hit in pretty big chunks, so... They hit Expressive Iteration into a red land, they'll be able to play Bonecrusher Giant afterwards, which would be pretty solid. Put that on the bottom. I don't know if they're playing any sweepers or not, but hopefully they're not, because if they are, we're just kind of walking face first into one here, so we'll see what happens. Okay. They have another removal spell. I imagine they'll fire it off now. Play Bonecrusher Giant. And then we'll give this +4/+0. Get in the bread zone. Let's go. Alright, not a bad first one there. Not a bad first one. Fight as one seems good. Valorous Stance seems good. Don't really feel like Unlicensed Hearse is going to do anything here. Feather? Think having a fourth feather is not a bad idea. We'll cut the Lumimancers. I don't know. Do we really want to cut all of them? We'll leave 2 in. I always wanted Lumimancer to be good enough in Burn, in Pioneer, but I never really took the time to try and make it work. So I don't really know if it's that it's not good enough so much as that I just never spent the time. So, hey, Carly with 14 months. Thank you, baby. So I like drawing Sacred Foundry is really solid there. I think I'm just going to play this tapped here as well. They're probably just holding a removal spell here, which means we're just kind of playing into what they want, which means I would rather... I'd rather just run out the Dreadhorde Arcanist here and and just hold up God's Willing or fight as one, so... Alright. Well, Expressive Iteration means they probably didn't have a 4th land in the Bolas. They probably would have just played it. Huh. I'm just going to attack and play Den of the Bugbear. And then play the other Dreadhorde Arcanist and say go here. Because we're still getting to leave up God's Willing and fight as one. Now, fight as one will only protect one of them. Excuse me. But still think we're in a pretty decent spot here with what we got going on. Target both of those. They have to have a slew of spells here. Alright, let's see how they react here. They put Bone Crusher Giant on the stack here. Alright, so they're going to kill that. We are going to leave that one on top. We'll leave it on top again. Yep. I mean, we'll just pump these guys up. Our opponent goes to 10. That's the thing is like playing into heroic is kind of like playing against infect. Most people just like if you fight on our turn, you're like or on my turn, you're probably gonna lose. Now that's a pretty solid turn for them. I am just gonna come crashing in here with the Den of the Bugbear. They're either taking 4 here, or like I mean I imagine they're gonna block the Den here and take the 1. Yep, that's pretty solid. Now this is pretty good. We'll see if they have another answer here. Because K-Command, like, they have to have, like, a Heartless Act or something like that, like a non-conditional removal spell. Yeah, we'll put that on the bottom. I'm not really interested in that.
Time to taste your marshmallows.
Languish. Alright, definitely wasn't playing around that. Hopefully they don't have another removal spell here. I mean, they probably just chalked their deck full of removals, so like it wouldn't surprise me if they did, but I think it's better to go for the Ancestral Rage here. Is Ancestral Rage? What this card's called? Anger, Ancestral Anger. Probably better to go for it here because we get to, one, it replaces itself, and then two, we get to put it back into our hand. So we're kind of starting that whole card advantage process, just like continuing to keep it rolling here. Drawing Fighters one is pretty solid. They plus for mana, we're probably in danger here. I was like, but if they're looking for cards, it means they probably don't have an answer. No, okay, they do? Alright. I had to play it on their turn, because if not, then... Alright, the Ancestral Anger puts our Clever Lumimancer attacking for 3. Fighters 1 is 6, which means like Defiant Strike or something like that off the top is lethal. They have to have another instant speed answer here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We've drawn quite a few creatures this game too. Like the fact that we're still in this game has actually like been pretty solid for us. Because normally it wouldn't work out that way. So with toughness 4 or greater, all right. Yeah, we're just gonna have to shock ourselves to play the Ancestral Anger, and then if we don't draw anything, that kills us. The Chandra plus the 2. I mean, yeah, there were lots of things that would kill us there. So. Hum. Hum, 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 hum. Yeah, I think having any and all protection here is really what we're going for. That's really what we want to be doing, is just having protection spells up as long as we can. I think this is fine. We can keep the Sejiri Shelter, so... keep that as our second land, and then that kind of allows us to go Lumimancer into Soul-Scar Mage in one turn. Drawing Feather is pretty solid. We have a way higher chance of drawing a white land than we do a red land, so definitely playing that on the red side. And I guess I could have double Fatal Push here, and then I'll just have to cry myself to sleep tonight. We want to find a land, so we're going to go for, hopefully we get a land here. We did, and now we have Valorous Stance. Valorous Stance either helps us destroy will either allow us to destroy the a Nicol Bolas, or it allows us to protect our creature. So this is tough. I actually think it's better to run out the Feather here, which is funny because Feather's a much higher threat on the like cards we want to keep, as opposed to the Dreadhorde Arcanist here. But
Let's do this.
if we draw an untapped land, we can play Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then we can.
This was a waste of my time.
Again, I'm just going to hold a Valorous Stance here. Like, getting stuck on 3 lands is kind of causing us a little issue here. But, I mean, we did keep a 2-land hand, so we're only playing 18 lands. It's not exactly like I really get to complain about this. Really hope he goes for the minus here.
Fire starter there is.
Target creature gains indestructible.
Time to die.
Alright, we've killed 2 Chandras. They have
I am out of here.
nothing on the board, and we have 2 threats. So, this feels like a decent spot for us. Now that sucks. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. Now we draw the Gods Willing. Yeah, this game might be over fast.
God, once again. My intellect is without limit.
There's the Gods Willings, like 4 turns too late. So it looks like we're gonna lose our first game here. We're gonna pitch the one of the Gods Willings here.
My schemes are never ending.
The fact that we're losing on a mulligan to 5 is like 1, good mulligan by our opponent, but 2, like pretty unfortunate, honestly. Thought our opponent already played a land. Thought they played a swamp this turn. Alright. Yep, that's unfortunate. I mean, our opponent mulliganed to 5 and we lost off the back of off not drawing a 3rd land, or not drawing a 4th land there, so that was pretty unfortunate. What about having a good spot? I mean, we were in a pretty good spot for quite a while there, especially with our opponent on a mulligan to 5 there. But, you know, just because you're in a good spot doesn't mean you win, you know. It's just... that is part of it. I feel like if I won every game I was in a good spot with, like, I would probably win a lot more games than I win. What's happening in Rocket League right now? Oh, it's the College Rocket League Championships. You know, I kind of enjoy watching these, but at the same time I don't, because the skill level between the college Rocket League and professional Rocket League championships like is night and day like difference. I mean, I think this hand's a really good hand, especially with us on the play. We have multiple threats here. We have removal spell and protection, so this seems good. Kiora. Okay. Looks like mono green something. We'll leave that on top. I was hoping we would find a land there. So, I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping that them not being able to untap anything, or if they do, the risk of losing their Kiora here is actually good enough for us to cross the mountaintop here. Not sure that it will be. Incubation Druid. It's been a long time since I've seen that card. If they're willing to trade both of their threats here for the Planeswalker, then I'm okay with that. I was like, I don't think they are, but if they are, I'm okay with that.
Back to the depths.
Would like to be able to get through this turn without anything crazy happening. Now, they do have access to 6 mana here, so that's not super likely, but... Oof. I was like, but if I can get to Feather Reckless Rage, game's in a pretty solid place.
Power surges through these lands.
Well.
The land shall conquer you.
I think I just want to play the Defiant Strike here. I'd rather scry and draw an extra card here. I mean, another Reckless Rage is pretty solid, but... Man... I guess I can live with another... Reckless Rage here. We'll leave that on top. We're going to do it this way. We're going to attack, and then whatever he blocks, we're going to God's Willing. And if he doesn't block, we're going to... we're just going to let the Nissa die. Yep. Going to give it pro green. We're going to leave that land on top again.
I must seek comfort in the land.
So we get to kill Nissa there, and we get to kill his Cavalier Thorns and keep our board. That feels like a pretty solid exchange. Put another target card from your graveyard on top of your library. Putting Voracious Hydra on top. Okay, that's fine. I mean, unfortunately, we can't really do much about the Voracious Hydra. That thing just gets to be huge. Like, he's probably going to double the number of counters on it. Oh, no, he's going to have it fight. Okay. I mean, I'm actually pretty okay with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a land. He's actually 2 off. Now this is really good. Don't really want that back, and then we get to draw an extra card. Wow. Yeah, that's really good. We get to put our opponent to 8 there, and put the Ancestral Rage back in our hand. Well, that's really solid because the Ancestral Rage attacks for 3. Or the Ancestral Rage lets our Feather attack for 6 here. And they can't really do anything about flying. I remember that being the one saving grace in this kind of matchup. Stonecoil Serpent. Alright, well we have a Reckless Rage for that. Okay, our opponent just concedes. Like, cool. Wasn't really considering them conceding there, but I won't complain. Indestructible on the fighting course seems pretty solid. Fight as one feels good. Unlicensed Hearst does not feel necessary. Vortex, Light of Hope. I mean, I guess we could destroy an enchantment or put a counter on something. I don't know. It all seems pretty medium if you want the truth. We'll cut one of these and cut a couple Lumimancers. I mean, Lumimancer's like my favorite card, like my least favorite card here. I kind of wish we had like a kind of wish we had like a Swiss Spear in that spot. I would have loved to have had Swiss Spear for both the decks I played today over the cards that I do have. Like the fact that Swiss Spear just has haste is just so valuable. And honestly, Soul-Scar Mage is going to be one of our best cards in this matchup. So we have Soul-Scar Mage. We don't really like rest of our hand is pretty medium, honestly. We'll get a Soul-Scar Mage down. See, Gird for Battle would be immediately better than Homestead Courage. So that's just another kind of going back to the fact that Gird for Battle might be better. We'll get in there for 3. So the problem playing against this mono green deck is that they do run out of cards fast because they play a lot of cards early to try and set up. But the problem is that they really only have to have 1 or 2 cards to take over the game because we just like their threats are just so much better than ours. Like see like right there. Like that Nissa is insane.
The land fights for us.
Now the best part here is that they don't want to block because that's one of their only 2 lands. So we know that their hand is like gas here because they don't have any more lands in their hand. They didn't play any. If they block, I would be amazed. Interesting.
How rude.
Your Nissa's worth that much to you. Alright, let's play a 3rd Soul-Scar Mage and say go here. Alright, they draw lands. They have access to 7 mana. Storm the Festival is also a really good card in this deck. Now, they only get a land and a Llanowar Elves out of it. I can live with that.
Harness the elements.
Alright. Our opponent's going ham.
My purpose is greater than myself.
Okay, well I can give something pro-green if I want. Alright, choose. Huh. I think I'm okay with that.
Underestimate my fortitude.
Probably should have played Clever Lumimancer there and then held up God's Willing. Would have been better play. Probably should have just sent the clowns at Nissa.
Behold, nature's
I really like that when you're playing Arena, you can just hit the space bar to like say okay and go to the next thing. I don't know, black, we'll say. Reckless Rage is not what we want. Now I know it still dies, but
True goodness can never be corrupted.
alright, what artifact are you getting this time there, Budro? Meteor Golem? Alright. They've put quite a few cards. They have kind of turned this into Pioneer. Please crew the boat. Please crew the boat. It's going to be a blowout if you crew the boat. And it's kind of a blowout either way, but... Really? Intertesting. That is pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm kind of intrigued to see their line of play there. I don't know that I disagree with it because blocking does not pan out well for them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a land allows them to play the Meteor Golem.
Awaken.
Oh, I can't play this. Boo! Now, I do get to protect whatever they try to kill here. I take 5, which is not great. Storm the Festival being your last card is pretty solid. That is pretty solid. Jeez. Old Growth Troll and a Vivian? Okay, bro.
We're gonna tear you apart.
Until your next turn. Oh, man. We might get out of this. I doubt it, but we might. Alright, we get to kill both your Planeswalkers, and we get to leave a blocker back, so there's that. And there's like 37 enchantments on that thing. Yep, get rid of our Soul-Scar Mage. Crew the boat, kill one of our Lumimancers. Actually, how is it 9? How did it... What? Oh, the boat's crew 3. I'm dumb. Yeah, we were dead. Oh, well. Still wasn't a bad game there, though. Would have been better, like, I mean, I guess had we seen a feather, it wouldn't have mattered, but... Yeah, we'll try it the way we have it. I think it's set up pretty well, so... We'll play first. Yep, this seems good. We'll shock in to play the Lumimancer. Now, Defiant Strike. It's a heck of a magic card. Push in for as much as we can here. Okay. Okay. We're liking it so far. It's looking good. It's looking good. Like probably have some kind of ramp here, I imagine. We're going to put a counter on the Dreadhorde Arcanist because I'd rather that be a 2-4, and plus I still get to attack for 2 here. Gonna have it fight the Lumimancer here. So it would have been better to hold up the fight as one. Well, you know, hindsight's 20/20, but... I guess we'll attack. We'll cast the Defiant Strike here, which peels us into another Defiant Strike. Yeah, I'm okay just saying go here. We get to attack for 4, and we get to see what they're up to, so this feels okay. The fact that they didn't have any mana dorks in the first 2 turns has made this a really good game for us so far. Normally does not work out quite that well for us here in that spot. Yeah, I'm willing to take 2. I'm not getting blown out by anything here, bro. I'll take 2. What mode are you picking? Our opponent said good game. I'll say it back. Cool. All right. Well, we get a win with the old feather deck. Oh, something about Kobe and his jersey during his rookie season. I didn't get to read it all, though. Traditional Explorer ranked. All right. Well, we're 1-1 after we lost what was looking like a pretty good game for us. Lost the Grixis Control. It was looking like it was going to be a pretty good game for us, but ended up just not quite getting there. So, well, I don't think we can keep that one. Yeah, we'll keep this and put the planes back. Dreadhorde Arcanist. This actually works out pretty well because depending on, well, yep, Fatal Push ruins it. You've ruined it. You've ruined it and I'm leaving. We'll play the Soul-Scar Mage and say go here, because if nothing else, we can play Feather and then get value off of the Defiant Strike, depending on what our opponent has. Or if they go for like a K command here, oh, excuse me. If they go for like a K command here on our Soul-Scar Mage, we'll save it with a Defiant Strike. Blood Tithe Harvester, okay. I don't really want to play into that bluff because, so let's say I go for that there and our opponent does block. I have to play something just to cause a trade and then I don't get any value off of the feather, and I'm not a big fan of that. So, alright. They're obviously not interested in using Blood Tithe Harvester's ability there um, to get rid of something. Probably didn't have another way to produce a token. Blood token. Alright, so Feather's ability goes on the stack. Now, a lot of people are inclined to play removal spells here in response, which would probably work out for them in this case, but is typically wrong. Now, is our opponent blocking with the Blood Tithe Harvester here, or are they just going to take 8 and go to 12? I'm just going to take 8 here. I've got 2 creatures left over in my hand here, so I'm just going to run out the Lumimancer and see what they do. Target player discards a card and it deals 2 damage to any target. I don't understand why they went for the 2 damage to any target on my Soul-Scar Mage. They definitely should have just went for the Lumimancer. I think our opponent was not considering the fact that damage all checks and buffs all check at the same time. I think our opponent thought that it worked like it does with our opponent thought that it works the way it does with like static abilities, not pumps and power-ups and things like that. We get to get this pro black. We'll leave that on top. What the heck. And then we get to come in and crush our opponents there. Alright, cool. That worked out pretty well. Valorous Stance, fight as one. Extra Feather probably can't hurt anything. We'll be playing against a lot of excuse me, removals. removal spells here. The Homestead Courage does not seem very good. I'm going to be honest. I think that just needs to be Gird for battle. Like, just straight up just needs to be Gird for battle if we're playing that, playing a card like that. And then, probably cut an Invigorated Rampage because honestly, we are trying to play the protect our threat role instead of the just push as much damage as possible role. So definitely seems better to do that. Well, we don't have any spells, but I think I can keep this. Valorous Stance is a good pickup. Okay. Anger of the Gods, okay. Anger of the Gods is not played super regularly anymore, so I always kind of forget that that's a card. And plus, honestly, I don't know a ton about the formats and like what's played in them anymore, just from my lack of playing over the last, you know, forever. Wait, if I played a spell? No, I didn't think so. So we're just gonna do that. Attack for 1. Not gonna pick anything. I'm gonna leave the removal spell there. We have 2 protection spells in our hand. Makes a blood token. Okay. Reckless Rage. Try to poke in for 1 more. Languish would be pretty bad for us here, but given the situation, I don't really know that we can afford to play around it. Yeah, we'll take an extra land. That seems okay. It's an extra red land too, so they could be pairing their Bonecrusher Giant with something here um, to kill one of our Dreadhorde Arcanists. Could have like K-Command, Bonecrusher Giant. They could just stomp us and then play the Bonecrusher Giant. So they are going to pair it with something. With another Bonecrusher Giant, okay. It's like I don't know what our opponent's tanking about here. I think it's worth playing the God's Willing here off of the Dreadhorde Arcanist, just to try and get some value. Oh, excuse me. We get 2 scries here, and if it's not something that looks promising to us, we're just going to put it on the bottom both times. I'm going to give it pro black, I guess. Fatal Push is more likely than anything else they could have. So they could have like Fiery Impulse or something here. Again, I don't know if they put Fiery Impulse in this format, but we're going to give this Indestructible. I mean, Feather doesn't seem bad because they're probably just going to run out. Oh, Chandra. And they actually can't minus.
My hair is on fire? I know. Ugh, don't you hate that burnt hair smell?
Alright, so we're going to kill that.
Well, that was a disaster.
We're going to run out the Feather here, and then we're going to hope to draw like a Defiant Strike or an Ancestral Rage or something. I'm just going to hold the 10th District Legionnaire here. Don't see a reason to play it or really run anything out. In fact, it seems very incorrect to do so. Now, this is going to feel pretty good. We have now entered the God's Willing loop. Thanks for playing, opponent. Unfortunately, your red-black do-nothing or mid-range deck is going to do nothing against what we're trying to accomplish here. Play that, get our God's Willing back, say go. Our opponent probably concedes here. I imagine this is concession inbound. I probably should have just hit the 10th District Legionnaire. That's a 5/5. I don't have to do anything. Like, if they block our 5/5, they go to, they take 5, go to 2. If they block the 2/2, they're dead. So, I mean, it's like I don't have to do anything here. They have to react, and I'm holding a God's Willing, so the game's over. God's Willing that I also get to then turn around and put back in my hand, so. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, well, let's tack another win on there. That felt pretty good. Hey, we're in silver now. Good for us. Moto keeps treating me poorly, and I just keep playing enough arena. I might even get to Mythic this season. Doll Terran. Can you guys see Terran? Oh, you can see Terran. Little Terran on the ottoman. What are you doing, baby? All right. This guy's name is Death Shadow. It's a little on the nose. but I like it. This hand feels really solid. We have 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. We don't really have any protection spells in our hand, but we do have Invigorated Rampage to push over some damage. Plus, our opponent's mulliganed at least once or twice there. I couldn't tell. So, we'll lead on Soul-Scar Mage here. Our opponent's playing Yorion, so it appears they did mulligan twice, actually. Yeah, but it appears they were on 5. What is this? Rafine's Tower. It's the Esper land. They definitely have something here. The question is, what do they have? I mean, if our opponent's willing to take 3 here, I'm okay with that. We'll run into Soul-Scar Mage and... Ah, it's Omen of the Sea. So we could have pushed through some extra damage. But that's okay, because even if our spell gets countered next turn or something like that, we're still in a pretty decent spot. We're in a decent spot because we get an extra prowess trigger out of it. So counter spell, removal spell, we're still getting some good value here. Well, if we draw something good, they might just be dead to Narset. Like, them playing the Narset there might actually just kill them if we draw something good. Oath of Kai is pretty solid. Alright, Defiant Strike. That's fine. 4, 6, 8. 12, 15? Yeah, so they're dead? Okay. We don't want to land. Take a billion! Alright, well. Yorion was on the... Yorion mulligan twice on the draw. Just didn't have anything. Like, I mean... It makes sense. I think the Feather will be good here. Vortex will be really solid here. We'll cut 2 Dreadhorde Arcanists. We're bringing in an extra creature here, and we'll cut the 2 Dreadhorde Arcanists since we are bringing in the 1 of Roiling Vortex. Now, the 1 of Roiling Vortex may not be worth cutting Dreadhorde Arcanist, but Roiling Vortex does have a lot of value and can be very good, so... Lord. Well, we got a mulligan this one. We got a mulligan this one too. Like, this is just not good. 6 creatures and 1 land, like, just feels very, very poor. We'll ship a land back and a Reckless Rage. It's also one thing I should probably consider. We probably could have cut, some number of Reckless Rage. We'll just go ahead and draw an extra card here. Punch in for 6. Now, that is the good thing about Clever Lumimancer. When there's no answer, it is a very explosive card. Now, Oath of Kaya does get the best of us here. Oh. Now I think I'm just going to play Vortex and say go. I mean, we weren't going to be able to prevent the life gain anyway, so there was no point in running out Vortex last turn. Our opponent would be at a much higher life total if we had, so land here would be good. Our opponent may have a counterspell. Well, we're definitely going to activate that ability because we're not having them gain any life here. So that was cancel basically. Well, they've got a Teferi down before we've really done anything, so that feels pretty bad. They're going to untap the two towers. Well, we'll just say go here. We can hold up Vortex, or we can just cast a Defiant Strike at the end of the turn. Or maybe we don't want to cast anything, and we just want to use our Defiant Strikes. Use them to kill the Teferi here. And we're still one short, but... feels like we might be playing for game 3 here. That's fine. And then I'm going to use this to try and kill the Teferi. And it looks like we still have a God's Willing here, so... they went for it anyway. Alright, we'll just concede here. They probably just went for it, honestly, to try and get the last card out of our hand there that turn, so that they could go into our next turn. To be honest, they did not really take a billion. No, they did not take a billion, but it makes me feel better to say a billion, so I said it anyway. Yeah, we can definitely cut Reckless Rages here. Like, we can leave in one. Bring in the Ferocidons. Alright, let's try it like that. I like to get a win here, finish 3-1 with Feather and Explorer, but yeah, this is definitely going to be my last game for the day. Been streaming for about 3 hours now, so it's been had a pretty good run today. I like clicking on other people's pets just to watch them get upset. Even though it appears this one does not. Oh, there you go. Glaring at me. Not scared of you. Now, I know we get no value off of the Lumimancer this way, but I would rather get in, get another creature down while we have the opportunity here. We definitely want to play the land. I don't really think we want the extra Lumimancer. I think I'm okay just crashing in for 6 here and then holding up God's Willing. I'm hoping that this stops them from gaining 3 life, but I'm not sure. Again, I don't think I want to Feather either. It does. Okay, cool. Alright, they might be dead here. Hang on, let me count. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so they're definitely dead here. Cool, so we'll take that. Definitely should have played the Homestead Courage first. Would have gave us an extra look. Yep. And that's just kind of how these decks lose to Feather. Same way they did the first game there. Like, they just kind of do nothing and we run them over there. So, I don't know. That was a pretty good showing. I mean, we had a 3-1 showing with the Feather deck, and we had a 4-1 showing with the Mono Red deck and Explorer. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out what I would change about it. Like, honestly, what I would change about the deck. So the thing about Feather, and it's kind of like this in Pioneer too, is that it plays so many one-ofs. Like in the sideboard, like the sideboard is very like all over the place. So like I like Roiling Vortex, but I don't know if it's the best card there. I don't know if you want Vortex. A lot of Hope seems good. Fight as One seems good. Redcap Melee seems okay. I don't know, like Redcap Melee just seems fine. I think this was probably a list from before Winota was banned, and that they wanted that card for Winota. Valorous Stance is really good. Vortex feels very medium. Unlicensed Hearse, I can't talk, seems really solid because it's a creature that we can crew up and get busy with, that we can wait to use when we want to, and it's graveyard hate. So, Weathered Runestone seems really good. Rampaging Ferocodon seems like a good card. And then the extra feather, I mean, I don't know that having the extra feather is a bad thing here. So, 18 land seems fine. This should just be Gird for battle. I'm just going to go ahead and make that change while I'm here. I do like the flashback. That was the only thing that I would say was better about it. I think Gird for Battle presents more damage for going wide. I honestly kind of see Gird for Battle as Boros Charm. I know that that's probably not the correct way to see that card, but that card in this deck is at minimum 2 points because of its ability, and then if it's on a Legionnaire or a Soul-Scar Mage or a Lumimancer, it turns into Boros Charm or more. A Lumimancer turns it into 5 damage for 1 mana, but Gird for Battle is, like, I see that as 1 mana Boros Charm. So, I don't know. I kind of like it. I would much rather have instead of Lumimancer Swiftspear, but that would be a more red-based deck, so I don't know. But